Welcome back. Are you ready to create your very own manifestation process and bring into your current reality everything that you've ever wanted or dreamed of? Then this video is for you. Today, I'm going to share with you how to create your very own manifestation process. All right, welcome back. My name is Letitia, and I'm a big believer in manifestation and using it to create your very own version of a lavish life. I have been doing this for honestly as long as I can remember, but I didn't realize that I was doing it until the last couple years actually. So one of the most popular videos on my channel is the video of how I manifested my husband. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, you should definitely check it out. I will link it right now. And in that video, I talked about my manifestation process and exactly what I did. But what you guys probably don't know is that behind the scenes, I was trying to figure out how to use that same manifestation process that seemed so easy for me when it came to like a relationship and getting married. It seemed so easy for me there. I was trying to figure out how to use it in the other areas of my life, in, my finances and with my body and my weight and my perception and things like that. And it wasn't until I really took a moment to just sit down and realize that I actually do have a manifestation process. That's when things really started picking up for me. And so I want to share with you what that process was like for me, and so that you can create your very own manifestation process. So before we jump into everything, what is manifestation? What does it really mean? What does it mean to manifest your very own version of a lavish life, as I like to say? Manifestation is simply the process of bringing a thought into reality. It's where thoughts become things. It's where you think about something and then you see it in your physical reality. Our physical reality is what we can perceive with our five senses. So you've got sight, sound, you got smell, you have taste, and you have touch. Easiest way to remember the five senses. And so that's what it means to bring something into your physical reality. You can see it, you can smell it, you can hear it, you can, if it makes noise, you can touch it, like it's there, it feels real. And that's what a lot of people say when they're describing something that's real. They're really saying that this is something that I can sense with my five senses, because reality does not necessarily need to be something you can sense with your five senses. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. I will just remind you that what manifestation means is bringing something from your thought into your physical reality. And I like, once again, using physical reality rather than bringing it into reality, because a thought can be a real thing. Okay. So what a lot of people believe manifestation is just, sitting around and like thinking really hard and then suddenly, a bag of money falls from the sky. But I've talked about this in other videos. Typically what happens is when you want to manifest something and when you desire something to come into your physical reality, typically what happens is it's going to come through the path of least resistance. So for example, if I desire more money in my life, more income, and that's something that I truly want, and I go through my manifestation process, my clearest path, the path of least resistance, is likely to be more money coming in through my business. And that's simply because that's the way that I generate all of my income right now. That's just what I know. Like I am a clear channel for listening to like, what do I need to do next? And all of those things that make it a lot easier for that to be my clearest channel to manifesting money. So when you think about like what your manifestations aren't, or what they're going to be, think about that as well. They're not just you sitting in a room by yourself and like just meditating and suddenly things just fall in your lap. Okay. You do have to take inspired action. So what I realized was, as I was going back through, I was watching that video of how I manifested my husband. And I remember thinking through that process, like, okay, what did I actually do? And how can I apply that to my business? How can I apply that to my finances? And I realized that there were a couple steps that I took. So my personal manifestation process involves me getting really, really clear on what I want. So I have to really be specific about exactly what I want, even writing it down, getting clear on like the smell of it, the sight, like how I'm going to feel, the emotion behind it, what I'm going to see, and like what does it mean when that manifestation comes comes into my physical reality? Like, how will I know that it's actually appeared? Then from there, my next process is to actually not do anything and just sit and be still with it. The reason that I say this is because I am the type of person that I'm like, okay, well, how can I get this done? How can I make this happen? And then I might start running down like all these different paths and rabbit holes to like make something happen when there's not really much that I personally need to do, but allow it to come into my life. So for me, part of my manifestation process is just sitting and being calm with it and not trying to force something to happen by trying to figure out what can I do. Then the next step of my manifestation process is actually releasing the desire to have it, which might seem a little odd because I started with the desire, but I got to release the outcome. I have to stop holding on to it so tightly. I have to say, well, if it comes, that's great. But even if it doesn't, like, I'm over here having fun, enjoying myself. And if you watch the video on how I manifested my husband, that was like the exact same energy that I had before he came into my life. It was like, okay, I'm dating all of these guys and I'm like, going out on the weekends and I'm having fun and I'm seeing friends and whatever. And like, that's great if this is the guy, but if not, like, I'm still over here having fun. And so that's part of my personal manifestation process for everything else in my life as well. And then the final part of my manifestation process is really feeling that emotion. So feeling, what are those feelings that I will have when that manifestation comes into my physical reality? How am I going to act? How am I going to feel? Like, who is that version of Letitia that has that physical reality in her life? And then I just start acting as that person. I start taking those actions. I make sure that I'm not acting from a fear that it's not going to happen. And I take the action from that feeling of, yes, I know it's going to happen. So I'm going to actually take this action and be that person that is on the same wavelength as the thing that I want. So that is my manifestation process. When you are trying to figure out what your manifestation process is, I want you to think about a couple of things. The first thing I want you to think about is, think of a time in your life when things just went really well, or a situation in your life where things just went really well, where you almost couldn't explain like why things were going so well. You almost couldn't figure out, like, it just seemed really, really easy and it just came very easily to you. Something just happened for you in your life. And if you can't think of anything, then you really need to sit with this and let this just percolate for a while and say to yourself, I need to think of a time in my life where something came easy to me. And then just let it go about your day, and your subconscious mind will start working on it, and it'll likely pop up to you when you're asleep, or right before you wake up, or right before you go to bed. So think about that instance, think about that time. Then from there, what I want you to think about is, what were the emotions that you were feeling? What were the thoughts that you were thinking? What was the attitude that you were in? Who were the people you were around? So what people were you around? What emotions did you have? What attitudes did you feel? What thoughts were you thinking? Maybe what was that time in your life? So maybe there was something that came really easy to you, and it happened to be when you were in high school. And when you were in high school, you felt really confident about yourself, or you knew that there were, things that were going to happen for you in the future. And so you felt really good about your future. And that's part of that time because you're in high school. So you got to pinpoint, like, what was it? How were you feeling? And really kind of transport yourself back to that time and that time frame. And like I said, for me, it was actually sitting down and telling you guys the story of how I manifested my husband that allowed me to even think through, oh, this is my manifestation process, and this is how I can make it easy for every other area of my life. And it's why I was able to hit my revenue goals this past year in my business, because I actually made the video at the end of 2018. It went viral around the start of 2019. And that was when I was able to really sit down and determine my manifestation process. I locked it in by like June of that year. And the rest of the year, like, really just took off for me. And so it's very powerful, but you do have to sit down and, okay, you can stand up if you want, but you do have to take the time to actually determine what is your manifestation process. So I would love to hear from you what your manifestation process is, or even if you're trying to think about, like, what's that time of your life where something happened that just came really easily for you? Definitely comment it down below so we can get the conversation going. We love to chat with each other. And then the other thing is, if you'd like more help with this, and maybe you're looking for a mentor or someone who can help you with your manifestation process, I do offer one-on-one coaching. I offer it on a limited basis, but I do take on one-on-one clients every now and then into my Attractive program. I mean, inside of my Attractive program, I help you to become attractive in all areas of your life, whether it's with your relationships, health, or wealth, and figuring out what your process is so that you can create your very own version of a lavish life. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.